Okay, so today we're talking about the elements of line, and we're going to do these lighthouses. And the only colors you're going to use are red, black, and yellow. So the first thing we're going to do is draw the lighthouse. And if you want, it might help you guys to fold your paper in half and just line up the edges. Lightly fold it and then fold it in half again, and this will help you center your lighthouse as well as figure out where to put the base and stuff. So you're going to go about halfway up your page, and that's where you're going to draw your oval. Okay, so you're going to draw a long and skinny oval like this. That's going to be the base of the lighthouse. So draw lightly, and if you need to, you can erase. We're going to end up going over this with marker. Okay, so get an oval going, and then it's going to have a little bit of a base coming down, and then the lighthouse is going to go all the way up to about here. So the top of the dome, it goes all the way up to the top. If you fold this paper in half, you can see that the bottom of this railing that goes around the light part of the lighthouse is about halfway down this page. So we're gonna have that start there. So just make a little line, and that's where we're gonna draw our the sides of our lighthouse too. So we're going to do the base of our lighthouse the same curve as the oval that we did, and then we're going to draw slightly diagonal lines going up towards your line that you put on there. Okay, and then you can go ahead and erase this line because it sits behind the lighthouse. To do the rail, we're going to match the same curve as the base of the lighthouse because it's following the contour of the lighthouse. The shape of the lighthouse is round. Okay, we're going to do another line, and this is basically where the people can come out, the lighthouse keeper can come out and look for ships and stuff. And there's railings on here. Okay, and then this is going to go straight up. This is where the light is housed. And we're going to come straight across now. Well, we'll go ahead and do a slight curve, and then another one. And then we're going to draw the dome. And the dome is going to go all the way up almost to the top, and there's a little spike at the end. Okay, so the light for the lighthouse will just be a circle in the center, and then when you draw the stripes on the lighthouse, they're going to be curved, and they're going to look like they're going around the lighthouse. And this is really going to make your lighthouse look cool. So make sure you do this really cool curve. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do waves. And those just come from the bottom, around, up, around, up. Do another set of waves. Yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Go there, and then they go behind the lighthouse, and then we're just going to draw lines that look like they're like the light that's coming out from the lighthouse, and those are going to be diagonal, coming from the edges out to the edge of your paper, just like this. And then we're going to draw some clouds, and those are just curved lines that go from one side to the other, and you can either do one, I'm going to do two, you can do one or two clouds. but do them on both sides. So if you do one here, do one here. Okay, and so that's your drawing. Fix anything that you want to fix before you go to your marker. I'm just using a black fine tip marker. And so now you're just going to outline. You're going to do your cloud lines a little bit thicker and your wave lines thicker. So lines can imply movement based on their shape. So that's how these look like waves. The more rounded lines look like clouds. And then these lines look like light coming out from the lighthouse. So it's the shape of the line as well as the direction of the line implies movement. Okay, and so you're also going to fill the stripes of the, well actually before you do that, let's go through and just erase your pencil lines. Do it gently so you don't wrinkle your paper. Just get rid of any pencil lines that are showing through the marker. Okay. And then what we're going to do is every other stripe we're going to fill with red. Okay, so we have the lighthouse stripes and the dome filled with red. And so now what we're going to do is do the lines that you see. And we talked about how line can imply movement. And when you look at the light coming from the center of the lighthouse, the light is glowing like it's coming off of the center of the light and then shooting out into the sky. So we're gonna do line types that mimic those movements, okay? Same thing with our waves. We're gonna do it so that it looks like waves in the ocean moving. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to fill my light with the yellow. And then I'm going to do those circular little dashes that come out from the center of your light on your lighthouse, just like it's glowing, okay? You see lines that imply movement a lot when you're looking at comic books. Okay, and then the lights that are shooting out are going to be just like straight lines that come like this. And their diagonal lines imply action or movement. These are like diagonal lines shooting out from the lighthouse, signaling to the boats that this is where the shore is. Okay, and then we're gonna switch to black and you're gonna do your waves. For your waves, you're just going to follow the same shape that you already did for your waves, but you're gonna repeat those shapes. This lesson is about line, so that's why we're drawing so many lines, to show you guys how lines can add variety and movement to your artwork. And those are both principles of design. And so for the bottom clouds, we're going to do these short vertical lines. And then for the top cloud, I'm going to do horizontal little dashes. You could convince me to use a different line type on the clouds if you wanted, or your teacher. Maybe talk to them before you decide to do that, but And that's your final art. So have fun with this, you guys.
This video was created by Sabrina Wingren at A Space to Create Art.